In Lagos, power isn't only in government offices in Alausa. No, some of it breathes in places you won't find on official maps. It roars in the motor parks. It whispers in the garages. And it commands loyalty inside the union. And right now, two of the biggest names in that world are locked in what many people see as a supremacy clash inside the National Union of Road Transport Workers. The NURTW, Musiliu Akinsanya, better known as MC Oluomo, and Adekunle Mustafa, known as Tafa Sego, once allies, one-time boss, and trusted treasurer. Today, different offices, different camps, and a tug-of-war playing out in public, on stages, in courtrooms, and in the back rooms of Lagos politics. Now, hold this thought. This story has two realities: what the law says and what the streets obey. And those two realities are about to collide. The streets whispered one thing: this isn't business as usual. So today, we're breaking down how they rose together, where the crack began, why this clash matters, for politics and commuters stick around, because the motor park politics you think you know is probably only half the story. First, where does real power live in Lagos? You might point at the Alausa Secretariat or the National Assembly. But what if we told you some of it lives where tickets are sold and danfos line up? Because the NURTW isn't just a trade union. In Lagos, it's a street empire. Think about what power looks like there. Massive daily revenue flowing through parks and garages, control of routes and loading points, the ability to mobilize thousands of men in hours, and influence politicians care about: movement, logistics, and yes, votes. Now imagine you're the chairman of the union in Lagos. That's not just a title, that's warlord status. And that is the world where MC Oluomo and Tafa Sego built their names. MC Oluomo, real name Musiliu Akinsanya. He grew up around Oshodi, lost his father early, then hustled, then fought. He didn't just survive the parks, he learned them. From Oshodi to the Lagos NURTW throne, he rose, through raw street strategy and political finesse. But here's where it gets interesting. He didn't rise alone. Stop. Freeze that. Because the person people now call his rival was once his inner man, Tafa Sego. Sego wasn't some outside challenger. He wasn't a stranger to MC Oluomo's system. He was part of the inner circle. A Lagos Island heavyweight, the union's treasurer, visible at events, praised by Fuji stars, and loved by his base, Sego Nation. In that world, being treasurer isn't just accounting, it's trust, it's access, it's loyalty management. Sego handled money, he handled boys, he handled allegiance. When MC Oluomo became state chairman, Sego was there. When the Lagos Parks and Garages Committee replaced the NURTW, Sego was still there. So, what went wrong? Because before court papers, there was blood on the ground. Let's rewind to January 8, 2019. All Progressives Congress, APC, governorship campaign rally, Ikeja, crowds, cameras, chaos. Then suddenly, violence. MC Oluomo is stabbed. After the incident, the Lagos State Police Command said Sego came with a group that clashed with other APC supporters, and then disappeared. They declared him wanted for questioning. Sego denied involvement. He pushed back publicly, saying, in effect, "Show the evidence." And there was no public conviction. But in street politics, this is the dangerous part. Sometimes whispers don't need proof. They just need repetition. From that moment, tension didn't just exist. It gained a storyline. And once a storyline catches fire, people start choosing sides before facts finish loading. By now, cracks were visible. But MC Oluomo didn't disappear. In 2022, the union was suspended in Lagos. MC Oluomo stepped aside as chair, but instead of fading out, he was appointed head of the newly formed Lagos Parks and Garages Committee. Same influence, new title. Meanwhile, nationally, the union faced disputes, suspensions, and legal wars. And then, this is where the story gets complicated. One crown on the street, another in court. In November 2024, MC Oluomo's faction held a national delegates conference in Osogbo, Osun State. He was sworn in as national president. At the same time, Sego was sworn in as Lagos State NURTW chairman at a ceremony in Agege. Sego thanked union members and politicians, called for peace and union stability, and he quoted street wisdom. "If you have sense for war, you must have sense for peace." Sounds like a smooth handoff, right? Wrong. Because power doesn't like smooth. Power likes certainty. And then the court threw a match into petrol. Later in November 2024, the Court of Appeal in Nigeria ruled that MC Oluomo was not the national president. Tajudeen Barua was, meaning the delegates' conference that produced MC Oluomo was declared illegal. Costs were awarded against him, but MC Oluomo kept moving like a president. And this is where Lagos reality hits you in the face. Sometimes political backing speaks louder than court judgments, at least in some corners. So now the question becomes, where does that leave Sego? Because if MC Oluomo is still acting national, and Sego is state chairman, then someone is going to step on someone's toes. And in motor park politics, toes don't get stepped on quietly. When two men share a system, the first public disrespect becomes a declaration of war. January 2025. Sego calls a Lagos union meeting. He publicly rebukes the state treasurer, Alhaji Suleiman, known as Kudeleti, for accepting a role with MC Oluomo in Abuja without informing Sego. Then Sego disbands the EFCC unit, the internal park squad linked with MC Oluomo's structure. The message was loud: "This is my Lagos now." But behind the scenes, something darker begins to brew. April 2025. Midnight. Reports from Sego's side said armed men stormed his home in Surulere. They tied up his guard, ransacked the place, and according to those accounts, they were looking for him. He wasn't home. No arrests were publicly confirmed, no public proof of who sent them, no conviction. But the question lingered, and it lingered for a reason. Was it a robbery or a message? In this world, a message doesn't need a signature. Fear itself becomes the signature. Now, fast forward. January 2nd, 2026. A big, star-studded event at Victoria Island. KWAM1's New Year All-White Party, hosted by King Wasiu Ayinde Marshall, also known as KWAM1. And at that event, K1 publicly referenced MC Oluomo as the head of the union. Sego Nation's boys reacted. Tension rose, and that moment fueled narratives of a public supremacy contest between their camps, even if both men later tried to downplay it. To an outsider, this looks like music industry gist. But inside Lagos politics, these events are symbolic arenas where loyalty is displayed, hierarchies are negotiated, and social media content becomes political messaging. Because in Lagos street politics, perception can become power. Public praise can feel like endorsement. Applause can look like allegiance. Silence can feel like betrayal. And when supporters believe a crown has been publicly placed, they move like the crown is real. So what's really at stake in this supremacy clash between MC Oluomo and Tafa Sego? Four things. 1. Revenue and structure. Who controls the billions moving through Lagos parks? 2. Legal versus political power. Courts say one thing. Street structures can obey another. 3. 2027 elections. Who will politicians turn to for votes and muscle? 4. Lagos reputation. If union fights spill into violence, what message does Lagos send, locally and globally? Because in this game, it's not about who has the title. It's about who holds the streets. MC Oluomo, once the boss, dethroned on paper, still powerful in reality. Tafa Sego, once the treasurer, now chairman, fighting to hold the ground. But while these kings clash, it's the drivers, the passengers, the streets that pay. Because when park power shifts, daily life shifts with it. Fares rise, tempers rise, fear spreads. So what do you think? Will Sego and MC Oluomo settle the score peacefully? Or is a bigger battle coming before 2027? Drop your thoughts in the comments and share this video if you want more real stories about street power and politics in Nigeria. Also, if you want a full breakdown of the 2019 rally incident and the police claims at the time or the full appeal ruling that removed MC Oluomo after he was sworn in, tell me in the comments. And we'll dig into it in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because the next move from either camp won't happen in court first. It'll happen in the streets. Because in Lagos, what happens in the parks doesn't stay in the parks.